Okay, hello everyone. Good morning and welcome to our exciting webinar session today, Cybersecurity in 2025, Challenges and Opportunities. I am Kosila. I am your host for today's webinar, and I hope everyone is doing fantastic today. So for the next 54 minutes or so, let's stay focused on me, and we have a very special guest, very special speaker awaiting us. So there will be plenty of interaction time between us. So please stand by to react with emojis, to reply in the chat box, and to on your mic and your camera later on, yes? Okay, so the objective of this webinar is to educate you all on the emerging cybersecurity threats, frameworks, and the value of certifications like CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA Cybersecurity Analyst, CISA Plus, CompTIA Pentest Plus, Microsoft Azure Security Technologies, Certified Information Security Manager, CISM, Certified Information Systems Auditor, CISA. So here are some of the key points that we will explore. Cyber threats that are evolving rapidly with AI-powered attacks, ransomware, and identity theft on the rise, which is we can see currently right now. And my second point is that Malaysia is seeing a major increase in cybercrime with high-profile data breaches affecting millions. And lastly, cybersecurity workforce demand is at an all-time high right now with 1.5 billion professionals needed in Asia. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce our expert instructor for today. He is the one and only Mr. Yap from Infosyte. So he is a very highly accomplished cybersecurity professional, and he will be joining us to share his insights on staying safe in the digital era of 2025. Mr. Yap holds an impressive set of credentials, okay? So he has Microsoft Certified Trainer Certificate, Microsoft Certified System Engineer, Veeam Certified Engineer, Veeam Certified Trainer, Huawei Certified System Instructor, and Cisco Certified System Instructor. Wow, that was a mouthful of words to say. And recently he has completed his CPA Australia certification. Congratulations on all your achievements, Mr. Yap. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you to our webinar session, and it's so wonderful to have you with us today.
Hi, thanks, Kosila. Welcome, everyone. So let me share my screen. Okay. So again, thanks, Kosila, the teams, as well as all the participants. Good morning to all of you. I hope all of you can see me and hear my voice clearly. As Kosila mentioned, that today I'm going to share some of this information on the cybersecurity in 2025. We are in the third month of 2025, I based on this presentation is based on some report that is actually from Google's and CrowdStrike's. So we are going to look into what is the current situation for the cybersecurity. I don't have a crystal ball, unfortunately. If I have, I will tell you. So this is based on what happened already on our in 2024, and the experts predict, the trend in 2025. All right. So without further ado, let me move on. Okay. So who am I to to actually tell you about the cybersecurity? Now, the content will be on the cybersecurity, but majority of you know that Infosyte is a training center. We are training partners. So I've been working in this ICT for past 20 plus years, and I'm a certified trainer, including, as what Kosila mentioned, I started in the network, then I go into the system, then I go into cybersecurity, and recently I also achieved my CPA Australia. So you can see that what you can see from here is that the Cisco and Huawei is more on the data communication, which later I'm going to explain more why this is important. Then ISACA is more on this internal auditor as well as the GRC. Then I also have the certification of CompTIA, as well as a list of certification, including the VMCT, which is the Veeam Certified Trainers, HCSI, which is the Huawei instructor, and also ISACA trainers. So I have a little bit of knowledge on all this. So hopefully that I can impart some of the knowledge here. All right, so I only have a short time, so I would like to share more information. So these are agenda today. So for those of you who are attend, I hope that later on you can take away, and I'm not going to waste too much of your time. But I would like to go through some of the important points. I think the first important point here is that why you are here in joining our webinar is to look into what are the top cyber threats in 2025. All right, regardless whether you're a student or you are in a business or you are in the enterprise or CISO or CIO or CEO. All right, so it's important for us to know what the threat so that by knowing more, we know what's coming and how to protect it. So I also will share some of the case study for Malaysia because we are all in Malaysia. Of course, that they also have global cybersecurity. Just now, Cosilla already mentioned that we will provide some giveaway for the report. So please stay put until end of the session to know how to actually get this white paper. So what are the practical strategy for security? I'm going to discuss some of the strategy for you to do some best security hygiene. Then we will have a question and answer. Hopefully that if let's say you have any burning desire or burning question that you want to ask, please do ask. Okay, so these are the agenda for today. Right, so let's start. Okay, now based on the report, which is on the Cybersecurity Forecast 2025 report by Google's. So they identify more than 5, but I will just give you the top 5 based on the report. The first one here is the advanced AI power attacks. So we all know that for the past 2 to 3 years, AI is really, very important word, all right, that people actually keep on throwing. So AI is real. AI will here to stay. Now, AI is a double-edged sword. All right, you have a AI to help you in your productivity, but AI is also being used by those threat actors to use against the user. So we are going to look into what the detail is. But the first thing that Google identified is that the advance in AI do have a threat. Okay, then the second thing is that on the sophisticated on the ransomware. Now we all know that the ransomware has been here for quite some time, but the sophistication on the ransomware are actually getting more sophisticated, right? So ransomware is also a very big threat for our community. So I believe that some of you do have heard about the ransomware, and in fact, I have many of the customers who actually impacted by ransomware. So it's very important for you to keep a very good hygiene as well as what the cybersecurity measurement that you can use to minimize the impact of the ransomware or even to prevent the ransomware. The next threat here is called the Infostellar. Now, Infostellar is like they are going to take your important information. So they are malware to actually lurking in your computers or your network. They are hiding and then they take the information and they want to benefit from the information they steal, especially for those financial service. And if you have a banking in your computers, those are the target that they want to get into. And for those of you who are sharing your password across different platforms, all right, so those threat actors will like you a lot. All right, so I'm going to discuss more on the Infostellar. So Infostellar is like information steal. They steal instead of your money, they steal your credential, they steal your information. We all know that data now is the new gold, right? So we do not need to take your money. We just take your credential, we take your information, is as good as gold. Now, the next thing that they predict in 2025 is the rising impact of compromised identity. So both of these are quite related. One is that they steal the information. The other one is to steal your identity. So that's why it's very important that you protect your identity. So I believe that most of you are using thumbprint on your mobile phone or your Face ID, or even for the Microsoft, you also have your Face ID. So these are some of the things that we use authentication to authenticate ourselves, or multi-factor authentication. Now, the threat actors now are getting more sophisticated, and they are trying to use a lot of methods to take away your identity. All right, imagine that if let's say you have a YouTube channel, if you have your TikTok, if you have your email and somebody actually take it away and then use your identity to scam other people, especially your family members or your colleagues. Okay, so these are the compromised identity. The next is the democratization of the cyber capability. As you can see that here, what is mean here is that because of the AI, it's still related to the first point here on the AI power attack. A lot of coding is now simplifying. Even somebody who have not much knowledge on coding or programming, they can use the AI to create some malicious tools to attack. All right, so it becomes easier to attack somebody without much of the knowledge. So that is means by democratization of cyber capabilities. So I'm going to go into more detail on all this cyber threat. So hopefully that this information will give you certain awareness. So let's look into the first threat just now I mentioned. Let's go into more detail. Advanced AI power attacks. Now, as I mentioned just now that, we use AI a lot. Okay, I hope that you're also using AI because AI is really useful to improve our productivities. But it also can be used against us. Malicious actors, now they are using AI to do a lot of this email. Now you receive a lot of spam email. Sometimes they use the AI to actually craft it as though that this is from a source that is reliable. Even the content, it sounds so real. Okay. Previously, they may be using certain script, but nowadays they can personalize it, they add the database, and then they will craft the email to be personalized to you. All right, with the AI agents, so if you want to know more about this, you can do a little bit of searching. So the AI agent that is available, there's many platforms that allow you to do that. They can ask the AI based on your profiles, based on your personality, they send this information to you, right? And when you receive it, you would think that this is from your very close friend. We call it as a phishing. And you click on this email, then they will install certain malware. So this is very important that you don't, click on certain unknown source. But it's very difficult for us to identify now because that the AI make it so real. Another thing is that phishing. So we have a phishing using your email. Then phishing is basically using a voice. So what it does over here is that they use your voice. Now, for example, right now I'm talking. Maybe they already have a lot of sample about me talking. So they use the sample to train the AI that sound like me, and then they can just play back, or they can just use my voice to actually to wish. We call wishing, a voice phishing, to my family member or to my colleague. So there are cases where the chief financial officer are actually what we call that they're actually being conned or being wished. Is because that the CEO actually asked him to release a huge amount of money, and the financial officer, CFO, thinking that this is really from the CEO, then release it. So later on, they found out that this is actually is a victim by this phishing. Okay, so be careful. Don't just believe what you see. Don't just believe what you hear, and also don't believe what you see as well. Why? Because they also have a deepfake. All right. So deepfake are expected to be leveraged for identity theft, fraud, and bypassing know your customer requirement. You see that for financial institution. So sometimes you can just scan your face to actually go into your banking apps. So what they do over here, this is called the KYC. Using the AI, they can manipulate using the AI to actually gain access to your financial accounts. So this is the very dangerous things that currently what happened here is that they are using the power of AI to do this type of threat. So this is the first major threat, and this is quite new because of the prevalence of the AI. Okay, so that is the very first real threat. So as I mentioned, that don't just believe what you see, don't just believe what you hear, and just don't believe what's in your email. So you have to be super alert. Now, second threat, let's discuss on this is the ransomware. Now, we all know that the ransomware, basically what it does is that it's a malware. So they will install. How they will install typically is through the phishing, or you visit certain website, or if let's say there is a SMS that they have a URL, you click on it, they install into mobile, install into your desktop computer. So once they install, what they'll do here is that they'll look for those high value files, such as your document files, your photo files, or your database. What they'll do here is that they'll encrypt it, and then they will send you a note. They will not going to damage your operating system because they need your operating system to be working. So once they encrypt, then they'll send you a note, and then you have to pay the ransom using some of the Bitcoins, for example. So this is very disruptive. All right. So later on, I'm going to share some of the real case that happened in Malaysia about this ransomware, and this caused major headache, especially on the healthcare, especially on school, especially on pharmacy, those that rely on the information to save life. So this type of threat actor, they don't care about the life. What they care most is about the money, okay? So you can see that the impact of this operation, not only it will be in 2024, it's already have, we can see that there's increase in the number of ransomware. So the expert predict that in 2025, it will be even more. As what I mentioned just now on the first point here, that the AI will make the phishing even more effective and efficient because they can do it in a large scale. All right, so another one here is that the number of new data lake site. What does it mean here? Okay, we call that a DLS. So for certain company, they have a very good data hygiene. So what it means here is that they do a backup, and they also put the backup into the cloud. All right, everything is fine. So maybe that due to somehow the ransomware attack to this particular enterprise, and this particular enterprise, all their data is actually get encrypted. Now, one way for us to circumvent this is to restore back from our backup. So once you restore back, everything will be running. But those threat actors will think that, hey, I already put in so much effort to actually try to ransom you, and now you try to restore it. So all the effort that I put, if let's say I'm the threat actors, I'm going to revenge. So how they were going to revenge? They're going to take your data, they publish it into this site called data lake site, typically in the dark web. So they sell the information. All right, so this is another new trend. In fact, this already had been happened, but now it's getting more and more. There are more data lake sites that's available. So this is to harm the customer and to expose all the information so that the victim can't do anything, but you have to pay the ransom. They also have this threat actor who actually do double ransom. So which means that they encrypt it, so the victim pay them the ransom. Then they do a second ransom by threatening to say that I want additional money or else I'll expose all your database to the public. So this is a very disruptive, and it cause a lot of monetary loss to the victim. So this is coming. I mean that it's already been here for some time, but it will be worse coming in 2025. So this is a real threat. So we are not only doing the training, we're also doing some sort of services, and we do have customers who are impacted. All right, so this is a real threat. So we do need people who know how to handle if in the event that your organization are being impacted by ransomware. So I hope that you don't have this experience, but if you are unfortunately to get attacked by the ransomware, you need to know your recovery plan, okay? Now, another trend that we can see here is the Infosyte, as just now, as I mentioned. So what they do here is that they steal the information, all right? Once they steal this information, they use this information to their benefit. especially if, let's say, your organization have a lot of these private information, or there is a secret, trade secret, this threat actor would like to know so that they can gain monetary benefit from what they get stolen. So it's very important for you to make sure that you keep your information in a secure, all right? Now, this is not as damaging as ransomware because that they don't encrypt it or they don't stop your operation. But in the long run, it can be very, very damaging. Why? Because that they open the back door, they steal the information and send back into the threat actors. Now, this happen especially for the organization who have a lot of patents or trade secret. Okay, right. Thanks for the question. I will come back on the question later on. Yeah, I have a Q&A session. Okay, so for the Infoseller, the hackers, or in this case, the threat actors, would like to make sure that your database or all your data is in pristine way, so that they want you to actually put more valuable information. So over time, they can take all this valuable information. They're not going to shame you, or they're not going to do damage to you. But over time, you can see that a lot of your trade secret suddenly is appear in other places already. So you know that there are certain information already been leaked out. All right. So this is one of the major threat for those who are in the IT. So you have to identify what data that are important. You need to secure your important data. So this is the Infoseller malware. So another threat that you have over here is the compromised identity. I believe many of you who are in this webinar, you are using this internet, right? Of course, because we are using the internet now for our virtual webinar over here. And you put in your username, you put in your password. And many of us, due to simplicity, we recycle our password. I bet that your email, your cloud storage, maybe some of your SaaS, software as a service platform, you're using the common password. We know that, convenience is very important. And some of the website, they do allow us to, they don't allow us to proceed if, let's say, we're using a simple password, So we are now more vigilant. We need to use a complex password. But that's come with another problem, where if, let's say, for every platform we use a complex password, we tend to forget, or we actually copy this information into our notepad or somewhere in your computer. Just like that I mentioned the Infoseller, if, let's say, the threat actor managed to get all your username and password in a place, then they get a gold mine already, because they can have a list of your username that you log in to those other platform. And if you have a high privilege in your company IT infrastructure, they will be celebrating already, because they steal this information to go into your network. So what we call this as a compromised identity. Now, more important over here is that the main reason why they want to steal your identity, not only to harm you, but to steal this information to gain access for this information that they cannot access. So if, let's say, you have a high privilege access into certain privileged data, you need to know how to protect your identity. Okay, so over here it said that the integration of on-prem and multi-cloud architecture. So what it means over here is that they may have certain application that you use in the office or on-prem, and they are also have a lot of account that you use on the cloud. Very simple. If, let's say, you're using iPhone, that is your iCloud, all right, your Apple ID, your Netflix, your YouTube, your TikTok, all right, your LinkedIn, all this will be possible if, let's say, they compromise, they can do a lot of damage. Imagine if, let's say, somebody took over your account and then start to actually post a lot of damaging information about yourself, and then it will cause major damage. So this is also another threat that is reported by Google. Okay, so this compromised identity. Now here they said that if let's say you are going to protect against this identity theft, we always need to make sure that you have using the phishing resistant, multi-factor authentication, device verification, and don't keep on using your password. So how many of you are using your password for the next 3 or 6 months or even 1 year, that you are just keep on using it because of convenience, right? So please think about it. If let's say you keep on recycle your password and you're using a common password across the platform, this is a real things that's happened. And especially if you have hold a very important position in your company and you have a lot of privilege, you have to be vigilant on this threat. Right. So the next threat over here that I would like to talk about here is that democratization of the cyber capability. Now, very important here is that, there are threat actors who actually want to take this information as easy as possible. What can be more easier than using the artificial intelligence, right? So barrier to entry for less skilled cyber criminals. So you can see that this kid can become a hacker, all right? Why? Is because that you can see that the AI has been moving so fast. Many of the apps, in fact, you do not necessarily need to be very well versed with the app. You just need to know how to prompt. They come up with the application. Of course, that they may not be perfect, but at least that they will make it so much easier for those threat actors to create certain apps to take advantage of the AI, and they use it for phishing. All right. So they create the tools, they create the phishing, and they also have something called ransom as a service, RAAS. Wow. What does that mean here? They are people in the dark web that you can engage them. Then you tell them that these are the people I want to target. You give them a list of this email. They will craft this information out. You pay them. They will send for you. Then they will give the access to you. So you can pay somebody to actually do the bad thing for you. Now, not that I want to encourage criminals. Yeah, I just want you to be aware that there's such a thing, so that you'll be more vigilant. Okay, and the person who actually create the tools, they may not need to have a very high-end knowledgeable, but they just need to have the right tools and the right motivation for them to create this automation for you. So the professionalism for malicious service will increase the number of threat actors. This is the real things. Yeah. As I said just now, all the threats are quite related, right? So if let's say with the AI, they can create the tools. With the AI, they can create a very compelling phishing. They can fake your voice. They can fake your face, and they can steal the information. They can break into your network. So if your network is actually not protected, so they will try, because they have all the motivation to go in, and then they don't just do for one person. They may do for multiple organization or multiple person. So these are the things that they are doing. So I'm not trying to create a fear, but these are the report on what they say that in this year, all right, this type of threat will be more and more. Okay, so experimentation with generative AI by threat actor will also contribute by increased efficiency on the adversary side. So I always promote that to use the AI, all right, because it's really effective and really efficient, and it's a double-edged sword, all right. So the bad guy also using AI to attack us as well. Those are the 5 main threats that the white paper mentioned. Okay, so now I would like to give you a certain case, but the context of the case is more on the Malaysia context. For those of you who are from overseas, I believe that you can able to do a Google, or you can just check on these internet on what are the recent cybersecurity that is actually happened. Now, case number 1 here is an alleged My Card. My Card is IC or identity card in Malaysia. Data leak raised concern over financial fraud in Malaysia. So this is a source from FinTech News. So here it said that the report leak of 17 million MyCard record has shaken Malaysia, has its citizen flagging serious concern regarding identity theft and financial fraud. So this happened last year. So the incident alleges disclosed by a Singapore-based dark web. So dark web basically is a, we have the web that is above and there's a web that is below. So you have to use the Tor as a browser for you to go in. So they do not know who you are. You also do not know who are the person who actually sell the information, but you can go into dark web. I'm not asking you to buy any illegal things or expose yourself to those danger, but I want you to aware that these threat actors actually work in the dark web. They will sell the information. All right. So my card information are being compromised. Our information such as our IC number, the name, the date of birth, the address are actually being compromised. And why this is important for us to know, because that I'm not sure that whether you have the impression that you receive a lot of SMS or a lot of this call. They know you. They even say your IC number. So once they call you and then they tell you your IC number, you think that they are from authority. So then you pass certain information to them. So this is important. It's very important for you to know that don't just believe the person who actually call you without verifying, even though they actually started to say that, hey, I'm who and I have your IC. Isn't that your name is Yap and then your IC is blah, blah, blah. All right. So this is case number one. So they steal your information. Once they steal your information, they can use the information against you. Now, second case that I would like to share with you here is a pharmacy. So this was reported. The pharmacy is called Big Pharmacy. This is news. Yeah, is already in the news. So they are actually being attacked by the ransomware. It's called Ransom Hub. So this pharmacy called Big Pharmacy has reported being targeted by Ransom Hub hacker group. So this is the information that actually happened here is on October. I'm not sure that whether they paid the ransom or not, but this was actually being published. So report claimed that Ransom Hub has breaches Big Pharmacy database, exfiltrating 50 gigabyte of sensitive data. Exfiltrating basically means that they steal this information. Remember just I mentioned Infosyte. Now, what information that are important? So include clinical lab report. Okay. So if let's say you have your X-ray, if you have your blood type, if you have any type of this health report, is inside their computers. This information are being stolen, and then they can use this information to work against you. So maybe they will say that, oh, I know that you have high cholesterol, or I know that you have heart attack. Then they try to actually sell certain things to you, for example. Okay, or the worst is that they pretend that they are actually from the doctors who want to do certain things. For example, there is a lot of things that they can do. Okay, so yeah, your medical certificate, prescription, and invoices. Now, this is a real thing, is because that, as I said, that nowadays the ransomware don't just encrypt your data, they can steal the data. Imagine that if, let's say, the big pharmacy actually don't pay the data, don't pay the ransom, they're able to restore back. Everything is good, life still move on, business as usual. Now, the data has been infiltrated by this ransom hub. So they can put it into the dark web, and then they sell this information. Okay. So this is case number 2, which is happened last year in Malaysia. Case number 3. Okay, I believe that you can see that this is our Minister YB Gobind Singh. So he said that Malaysia see 1,192% surge in the data breach cases. So this is report in the Star. You can, if you want to know more information, you can search on that. So our YB, which is a digital minister, that they reported 427 data breach report as in September last year. Okay, so data leak has serious implication for the country, security, and sovereignty. Sensitive information like personal data of the citizen, government secret, and the data can be manipulated by threat actors and hackers. So Malaysia government do aware that such a things happen. So we are being informed that scammer is everywhere. We have to be aware that our IC might be exposed already. So we have to be very vigilant. They are report. These are the real report under the Majelis Keselamatan Malaysia. So they actually receive report that, if the organization are being breached, you are supposed to actually report this incident to the authorities. So these are the three cases that I want to highlight to you here is that, this security threat is happening, and we hope that we do not want to be one of the victims. So that's why we need to make sure that we will always be vigilant and to protect. But assuming that, even however that you protect, you are still being victim, then you need to have a plan. In the event that things happen, do you know what you are going to do first? All right, who to inform? You need to cut off your credit card. Who to call to actually cut off your credit card or freeze your bank account? All these things you have to be prepared before even things happen. All right. Okay, so very important over here. This is not the only list that you can do, but this is a partial list of what you should do. Okay, strategy to prevent or minimize cyber threats. So let me go through one by one. I hope that I still have some time over here. So educate your employee on AI generating phishing. Remember just now I mentioned that, one of the bigger threat now, that AI is really fantastic. Now, because that they are so efficient and some of these AI tools are free, like ChatGPT, you do not even need to pay. You can just ask them, they can come up with a very compelling letters. So you have to educate your employee, all right? If it's look very compelling and you have to look for telltale that, these are AI generated. If sound like me, but it doesn't actually, you suspect something, come back and check with me, for example. So you need to educate them, very important. Maintain encrypted offline and cloud backup for ensure recovery. Remember, the first one I mentioned is the AI that they actually make it so scalable. They can use it for phishing. The second threat I mentioned over here is that the ransomware are getting more sophisticated. So these are related. They are using AI to actually phish you. Once they phish you, they will encrypt your important data. Now, as I say that your data, you cannot recover if let's say they encrypt it, unless that you have a backup. But nowadays the ransomware are quite smart. They know that you have a backup. So they search for those extensions with the backup. They also encrypt the backup. So if you want to do a restore, your backup also get encrypted. So always important, remember that to test your backup to make sure that your backup is offline, all right? Or you put into different locations, such as in the cloud, and you have encrypted yourself, which means that you have a key to unlock it, and you do not allow people to actually simply override it. Okay, so we do, myself is a WIM trainers. We actually teach people on how to do backup and restore. So backup is very important, but test your restoration strategy as well. For organization, should practice the zero trust. Zero trust basically means that regardless who you are, you have to authenticate yourself. We don't trust anyone. Zero. Nobody is being trusted. I don't care whether it's a device. I don't care it's a human. I don't care your position. All right. Regardless whether you are CIO, you are CEO, you still need to conform to the process. All right. So you have to restrict the access based on verification, ensure attacker cannot easily move laterally. So which means that the threat actor already inside the network, you try to confine them so that the damage will be within that particular area. If let's say you are being compromised and you do not want to spread, you don't want this malicious activity to spread in your network. Next, you can implement what we call the EDR. Now, these are the software that you install into your computer. So this software will keep on detecting any malware or activities that, such as the enforced talent that actually send back into those threat actors. So using a good quality EDR is very important. You have to invest certain money into this. It's because that, as I mentioned, that imagine that your whole entire photo or video or all your document or all your invoices, all your database actually gone. Imagine that. Then you know that the amount that you spend on the EDR is actually not a very big investment because the amount of data once you lost is lost. All right. So EDR is called endpoint detection and response. So there will be running into your laptop on your server to keep on monitoring for any malicious activities. Ensure the password hygiene. I think that this one I already mentioned just now. Make sure that you actually don't keep on recycle your password. Don't use your birthday. All right. Don't put your password under your keyboard because people say that the most dangerous place is the safer place. This is wrong. Yeah, don't follow this. All right. Make sure that you follow the password hygiene. All right. You can use a good password manager to actually save your password. All right. It can be inside your mobile. You can use the mobiles apps. All right. You can search for those mobile apps that have a good reputation. And then the next one is deploy advanced anti-malware tools to detect and block invasive attacking. So implement good firewalls, intrusion prevention system. All right. Just now I also mentioned that if let's say there are certain activities that are running, nowadays those threat actors create the malware look like a legitimate activities. Okay. So maybe that the firewall allow them to come in already, but you need to be vigilant over here because that there are certain activity that look like a legitimate one, but they will act maliciously afterward. Okay, so you need to have certain anti-malware tools that are able to detect and block this type of invasive technique. Okay. Implement FIDO/web authentication based authentication. All right, so FIDO is called a fast identity online tool. Basically, it's a new authentication protocol. All right, that is passwordless. So basically means that example here is like your window. When you open your computers, they will just scan your face. So using your face to use as an authentication. So this is the one of the FIDO or web authentication API to reduce the reliance on password because password once it compromised, you can use in a lot of places. Another good strategy here is to conduct frequent audit. Many organizations have policy on their on their IT asset. So policy is one thing. Whether you use based on the policy or procedure is another thing. So have a good hygiene by doing regular checking as well audit to see whether any of the users are actually not follow the procedure because it just take one employee to actually compromise the network. All right. And track leak credential and attack planning discussion to take proactive measure. What does it mean here is that just now remember I mentioned that these credential after they have this info stellar, they actually put into the dark web to actually sell to those threat actors. So there are certain software or there are certain provider that can, after you subscribe, they can actually check whether any of your information has been compromised. If let's say there's compromised, they will tell you that, hey, your probably some of the information is already in the dark web, and you need to actually change your password or do, strengthen your policy, for example. So these are some of the strategy you can prevent, but this is not the whole list. There are more, this is just some of the example that you can use to prevent, to minimize a cyber threat. And please remember that these threat actors are evolving very fast. Okay, so there's always a new way for the threat actor to attack you. So we have to keep on learning how to prevent ourselves to become a victim. Okay, having said that, so what we can do? Okay, so with cyber threat evolving at lightning speed, the need for skilled professional has never been greater. So not only that we want to prevent ourselves to become the victim, maybe we also want to protect our organization. Now, this is a study by ISC2. Okay, so the report is just recently. Last year, they do a report, and then they found out that we need to have additional 1.5 million professional, including Malaysia, Singapore, and India. So if let's say we take it like, let's say, India have a biggest population, even if it's 10% of 1.5 million, right, that's a huge number of the IT professional, especially in security that we need. So 65% of responding report difficulty finding cybersecurity role, which means that the skill on the IT personnel are actually not enough. All right, they find it so difficult to get a right candidate with the right skill. And some of the company that would like to spend more money to train their existing staff. 80% of the organization are investing in upskilling. And the study actually showed that the certification does indeed raise the bar to make sure that those in the cybersecurity field, when they have this cybersecurity certification, they can, in a way that help in the protect this cybersecurity threat. Right. So with that, I would like to share with you on how to begin. All right. So I mentioned to you about what are the threats. I mentioned to you what are the case study. I also mentioned to you that these threats are real and how you can at least try to minimize or prevent it. But if you want to take things on your own hand and you see the opportunity, because there's a threat and there are opportunity over here. So you will ask yourself that, I think that I need to protect myself. Not only that I want to protect myself, maybe I can make this as a profession. Okay, so the next question you should ask is that, how should I begin? Okay, you know that you are joining this webinar. We are a training provider. The good news over here is that I break down into 3 levels, one for the beginner, intermediate, and the advanced. So what you can do here is that if you first started and you think that the security is really exciting, interesting, and you want to help the communities, as well as helping yourself, more important, if you want to earn a career and earn a living, all right, but you need to start from somewhere, all right. If let's say you are not in the cybersecurity field and you want to embark into cybersecurity, what you can do first, you can look for this CompTIA Security Plus. These are the basic security concept, ideal for beginner. We also have the other one here is that Pearson VUE IT Specialist. This is also fundamental. Now, these are the fundamental that good for those who have no knowledge about cybersecurity, but you want to embark it, even if you are the user, doesn't matter. You will find this will be useful. And for those of you who feel that, hey, I want to understand more, is there something that is free? Good for you. So there is one called ISC Square. They have this online free one. You can go in to have a look. They have this course certified in cybersecurity, CC, designed for newcomer, introduction for security principle, access control, and network security. So this is free. You can go in and have a look. All right. So we are not just asking you to spend your time and the money for those paid costs, even though we do offer that. The good thing over here is that when you're doing online, it's e-learning. But when you come to our training center, then we have a trainer to teach you. Now, for those of you who already have experience and you already have the fundamental, then you can go for the intermediate. Okay, so for the intermediate, what you can look for is from the technical point of view, you can go for CySA Plus. This will focus on threat intelligence, detection, and behavior analytics. All right, so if let's say you want to work in the SOC or Security Operations Center, this will be good. And you want to work as a blue team like the Pentest Plus. CompTIA Pentest Plus is good, so best for those interested in ethical hacking, penetration tests, and vulnerability assessment, all right, in a blue team. And for those of you who are really looking for the security in the cloud, you can look for the Microsoft Azure Security Technology. This is a Microsoft certification, all right, but you should have certain experience in security as well as the cloud as well. So these are more on the intermediate level. And these are very practical and they have a lab for you to do it. So I always advise for those of you who are embarked into a cybersecurity, don't just on the theory, don't just memorize concept and pass your exam, but more important, you have to have hands-on. Last but not least, for those of you who really in the cybersecurity, you are quite familiar with the cybersecurity and you want to go into a management level, right? Now, there are a few certifications that are good, and this is just a partial list. I can't put everything into here, but this is some of the recommendation. One is the CISM, all right, by Asaka. They focus on the GRC, which is stand for governance, risk management, and compliance. So this course is for those who are really in the management level, high level, look into the compliance, look into the policies, look into the technologies, right? So this will be the course that you should actually look for. Or if you work in, especially in financial organization, industry, FSI, the other certification that you should look for is called Certified Information System Auditor, CISA by ISACA. So this is more on the external audit or internal audit. All right. So it's a very good credential, especially those of you who are working in a banking field. You also can look for another one called CASP Plus. Now CompTIA rename it as Security X, and advanced level security certification on enterprise security, architect, and operation. So these are more on the high level. So you can see that your career, if you want to involve in your cybersecurity, it can be from the beginner to the intermediate to the advanced. Right. So what's the key takeaway? All right. So I have a few more minutes, so I just want to go through it. So just a key takeaway. Threats are real. Okay. So AI is actually making this, you can say that worse, but it also helps us a lot. So Malaysia see a major increase in cybercrime with high-profile data breach affecting millions. So I mentioned about the 3 cases. So I also share with you about what are the strategies you can use to at least to protect yourself. And there is a huge demand in the cybersecurity in Malaysia or in Asia. So if you have this type of certification, you don't not only have opened many doors, you also can travel very far. Okay, because cybersecurity doesn't care. The threat actor doesn't care you are Malaysian or you are in the Singapore, in Indonesia, in UK or in US. All right, cybersecurity is everywhere. So the key point over here is that, you know, make yourself more valuable, learn more, invest in the certification. All right, so it comes to the Q&A. Thanks for, you know, joining me so far until now. Okay, so let me actually go through some of the question over here. All right, so I hope that I have enough time to actually, Cosilla, can you just give me some of the question over here?
Okay, so let me just scroll to the questions. The first one is, should an organization pay for ransomware? And how will the public actually know that their data might be stolen in the organization and how to protect themselves? I think there's like
Very
2 to 3 questions in that one. Yeah.
So firstly is that, do we actually want to pay the ransomware? I don't have the answer for you. The reason is because that it all depends. If let's say the information is very important, and if let's say this information you cannot get it back, well, I mean that you have to do the right thing. All right, but please remember that we are not trying to encourage to pay the ransom, but once you pay the ransom, you also have a risk that they give you the private key, may not be every data will be recovered, because during the process of encryption, some of the data may be corrupted. So you are actually taking your chance. So the short answer is that no, you should not pay. But then again, it's very much depend on the organization. If let's say the data, there's no way for you to put back, recover back, and these are life and death. So I think that the organization need to do the right things. So just now I mentioned that, you know, you have to make sure that you have a good backup, and you have to try to restore. If let's say you have your backup, put it into immutable storage, so that once you write into this immutable storage, you use a policy to govern it. Once they expire, only the data will be purged away. But if let's say the ransomware trying to encrypt your backup, they will also fail to do that, and then put it into multiple locations. Don't just put everything in on-prem. It will be good that you put into the cloud. For example, you can use the S3 storage with the immutable lock. So there's one of them. And I believe that another question is that how you know that the malware is already lurking in your system, and then they steal your information. In fact, this is a little bit difficult, is because that you do not know unless that you do monitoring. So you need to have a good procedure on how you can monitor your data and how to monitor your network. So that's why invest in a good security tools such as EDR or SIEM will be a good investment. But again, these are just a general guideline or general advice. So you still have to go into more detail. I would advise that get some experienced cybersecurity expert or consultant to actually advise you accordingly. But what I mentioned here is a very general information on how you can safeguard yourself and how you can identify whether your environment has been compromised.
That's all the question that seems to be in the chat box.
I think
Does
I'm running
anyone
out
else?
of time.
Yeah, we'll just take one more question from the crowd. Anyone else has any question?
Can I just do a bit of survey? You do not need to tell me anything. How many of you think that you are at the beginner level? That means that cybersecurity is totally new for you, and but you think that cybersecurity is important. Can you put 111? And if you think that you are actually know some security, but you feel that this is something that you would like to go into more detail, you can type 222. And if you think that you are more on the GRC and you want to know more about the CISM, CISA, can you type 333 in the chat box? Just want to get some ideas on how many of you are in the industry over here who think that this is important.
Mr. Yap, there's 3 questions actually from in the chat box. Yeah, maybe you can just pick one.
Wow, okay. Wow, okay, good. All right, thanks for all your feedback. All right, thanks, David. Oh, David is actually at 3. Okay, so you're on the GRC. Okay, very good. Thanks, Logan. Thanks, Vinay. Hey, Cairo. Okay, Zamre, Vishu. Okay, Fakira. Okay, thanks for all your feedback. All right, so at least that I know that. Okay, at least that I know that what's the level on my audience over here. But if you want to know a little bit more on the certification, all right, you can always reach out to the email. Okay, so let me show you the email over here. All right, so there's a marketing. But again, I hope that this webinar actually give you a bit of overview about the cybersecurity. I'm not here to actually spread the fear, but I'm just hope that the key takeaway over here is that even though you are not in cybersecurity field, you have to aware that there's always a threat lurking around, and we cannot just say that we just off our handphone and don't use a computer or internet. You know that is impractical. So it's impossible nowadays. Even if you don't use your laptop, you always have your handphone. All right. So please be vigilant. All right. So I think thank you. So I think that I have no more question over here. Fazila, is there anything else? Thank you, everyone. Thanks everyone to attend this webinar. We do this webinar every month. So the next, we will post our information on our website. Please follow us, and hope to see all of you again. Thanks for all your participation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Please do comment your full name and email address as you have registered. Please don't forget in the chat box. Yeah, this is for your ECERT attendance, which we will email you, and the video link of the seminar, and also the case study reports along with the special promotion brochure. Yes, you have a lot of very, very good details that we will include in the email. So don't forget to mention it in the chat box. Yeah. Okay, all right. That's a wrap, folks. Thank you for joining our session today. I hope you learned a lot of new information, and I hope you got a clearer understanding of what cybersecurity is all about, the threats and everything. So just remember, cybersecurity is a team sport. So stay alert, stay informed, and stay safe. Until next time, take care. See you in our next session.